So this is going to be your second Rhino tutorial. Go ahead and get Rhino open. First thing I want you to do is check the units. So same as you would in AutoCAD. So automatically, Rhino's in millimeters. That's because it's used with a lot of fabrication software that works in millimeters. We would like that to be in feet. And then you can have your distance display be in feet and inches. I'd make your precision, let's do a 16th at least. Absolute tolerance, add 1 0 to that. And that should be everything. So feet, 0.0001 units, 1 degree, feet and inches, 1 and 1/16, and hit OK. All right, so I just wanted to go through a few ways you can start to build your model. So luckily you guys already have made a plan and a section, potentially a detail of your model already. So we can build off of those. I'm going to be working off of the storefront just as the example. Please follow along, but always be thinking about your own project and how you can use the same tools to make your project. So to import a DWG, I'm going to go up to File, Import from File. Oh, nope, I'm wrong, just Import. And then the file you're looking for is located on Canvas. So it's saved under here, Storefront Plan and Elevation. I already downloaded it, so let me just find that. And that's here, and I'm going to click Open. So it's going to ask me a whole bunch of questions. I think all of this is already correct, so I'm going to hit OK. So if I zoom out, this is now my drawing that I've already made in Rhino. I can zoom in and out using my scroll button. In perspective view, I can use my right mouse button to revolve around this, and I can pan if I hold down Shift and hold that right mouse button. So let's just double check and make sure it came in at the right size. So I can do DIST, type that in, hit enter for the distance. I'm going to click here and click over here, and that's 57 feet. So I know that's not right. I believe that was already a very large door. Wasn't 50, it might have been 57 inches. So I'm thinking that I should have said that this model coming in was an inches model, but I can fix that easily. So I'm going to select the whole thing and type in scale. Select a base point just somewhere around the origin is good. So somewhere around here. And type in 1/12 because we're going to convert it from being in feet to inches, and then hit enter. So let's try that again. I think these doors were 3 feet maybe, or 2/6. So if I check the distance, DIST enter from here to here, yeah, 3 feet. Okay, so that's the right scale. I'm going to delete these so they're not distracting me here. So if you, when you were doing this, if you didn't have points show up here and here, you might not have your snaps on. So come down to here, make sure when you click O snap, you have on your end, near, point, mid, intersect, perpendicular, tangent, quad, don't have center highlighted. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just show you a couple of different tools you can use to now make this a reality. So one thing I like to do is this piece I'm going to use to actually extrude pieces of it. So I'm not going to group this, but the elevation I think I'm just going to mostly use as reference. So I'm going to select the whole thing and group it. I can always ungroup it later if I want to. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to align this with my storefront so that I can use it as a references for height. So I'm going to select the whole thing. I'm going to double click on top, then double click on perspective. That's going to highlight my perspective view. with this whole piece still highlighted, I'm going to type in Z enter, S enter, and that's going to just make that the main piece of my view. It's going to change my revolve to be around that point. I'm now going to move this to on top of here. So I'm going to type in M for move, select this M point here, and bring it over to the end of my wall here. And hopefully I did this right and it all still lines up. Yep. I'm going to now use a command called Rotate3D. It's asking me for the start of my rotation axis. That's going to be the bottom line of this elevation. So all the way to here. I'm going to click, and then my first reference point, I'm going to have flat here. Second reference point, I'm going to hold shift so that it goes to 90 degrees high, and then I'm going to click. So now you can already start to imagine how this is going to come together into a building, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to come over and see what's going on with my layers for a sec. So I could have different layers for my 3D things than my 2D things. I think I'm just going to try to stay, I think I'm just going to keep things on the same layer. So I'm going to double click on exterior wall. And first thing is I'm going to select all my exterior walls. So the one thing I want to change is right now my exterior walls have the doors coming out. And I actually just want that to be one solid wall. So I'm going to retrace those. So right now I'm just coming here and I'm just retracing that exterior, and I can just snap onto the walls that are already there. So it shouldn't be too much work. I don't exactly know what's happening over there. I'm just going to pretend this is straight because I don't really think we even need the back of our building, honestly, in this. If you make a mistake, type U, enter to undo it, and then you can re-click there. I don't think we even really need the whole thing, honestly, for this exercise. I think you'll just be showing the front of a storefront, if anything, because most of you are focusing on the sidewalk in the front. Okay, whoop. And did I close it or not? I think I didn't close it, so I'm going to do one more line here to close the two. Select that. So when you click on something, if there's more than one thing there, it'll let you pick which one. So I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to select that and join it. And that's one closed curve, which is great. I'm a little bit concerned that I might have clicked off it at some places. So I'm going to go into my top view and just type in project to C plane, which is this one, and delete my input objects. And what that's going to do is just make sure that that's really flat before I extrude it. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and extrude it. So I type in extrude curve. I didn't change. Right now I'm on wireframe, which is why everything's all ghostly looking. We'll come back to that. So I'm going to come to here and just click the total height of this wall, which is to here. And so now that's all there. You notice that things still don't look solid. To change that, I'm going to come over here and go into ghosted so that you can kind of see the lines, but you can also kind of see what's happening. So there's the start of my building. I'm missing this wall because I hadn't drawn it in the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and redraw that wall so that we can subtract out of it. So I guess the question is, we really care about this upper piece of wall. So rather than rebuild the whole thing, I'm just going to trace out this front piece and extrude it. So I'm going to, because I have my snaps on, I can do this, that I'm snapping to here, snapping to here, snapping to here, snapping to here, snapping to there. And then I'm going to type in extrude, curve. I'm going to kind of hover over this way and type in 1 foot and hit enter. Okay, so there's the beginning of my building. I can do my interior walls fast because those are going to be very similar. So those I've already hopefully highlighted out. And on these I could do the same thing. Well, I could just right click on this and say select objects. And then maybe deselect. Let me change it. So the problem with making things yellow is then you can't tell if something's selected, right? Okay, so now if I right click on here, select objects, I can see all the things that are selected. The doors should not be on there. That's a mistake, so I'm going to hit Control, get rid of those. Get rid of those. Okay, so hopefully that's just what I want selected now, and I can hit Extrude. Oh, I have that one there, but that's okay. I can delete that later. And I'm going to just reference the top of this wall so that those are the same height as the exterior walls. Okay, and this does not need to be that high. So I could delete this. It's the door. And yeah, I'm just going to delete that for now. All right. So let's work on our storefront here. I have a bunch of information in my plan that's going to help me make my storefront. The first are these yellow pieces, and I didn't do a great job of change that color so we can see when it's highlighted. I didn't do a great job of connecting all these lines, so I think I should probably trace over them just to make life a little bit easier here. Let's see. Well, I might be able to join them. Okay, so I'm going to select those, join them, and then I'm going to get on this level. I'm going to complete this out. And I'm just making that one closed shape join. It says one open curve, so that means it's not closed. Oh, so if I go here, Z enter, S enter, you can see here that there's an overlapping edge here. So I'm going to type TR for trim and see if I can just trim off that little bit. And then if I do select open curve, it's not selected, so I know it's a closed curve now. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude this. And I'm going to extrude it up to this first line here. So we're going to do something similar over here. Select all those lines on the outside and join them. This last little one, I think I didn't do right, so this I'm going to retrace. So click, 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 select it. Hold Shift to select more than one thing. Sorry, I forgot to narrate that. Shift to select more than one thing, Control to remove something from a selection. So Shift, click that, Shift, and then join that. And it says one open curve again. I'm guessing the issue is still over here. So let's zoom in over here and see if that's the issue. I don't see it there. So I'm going to hit close curve and hope that it didn't do something really wacky to make that curve close, because sometimes it'll do like a big loop-de-loop somewhere, a random line across somewhere to close something. We're going to hope that just was an easy close. So now I'm going to try extruding that. Hopefully it'll come out clean. Yep, we're good. If it's not coming out solid, make sure this says solid yes on it. And I'm just going to use this line, or I can use the other one. I'm going to hover over here to get my height. Okay, sweet. So now I have my glass, I have the bottom wall and I have my top wall. I want to put on my glass, so I'm going to go onto my glass layer. And here, I think I also had drawn the glass already, but you see how it's separate lines? I can go into wireframe so you can see better. These are all separate lines right now. I think I'd rather I really would like them to be like rectangles. That would make my life easier. So I'm not sure I can do this, but let's start here. I'm just going to click on my rectangle tool, click to there, click to there. See, this is where I think my rectangle tool is going to fail me. If I go from here to here, yeah, it's not going to work. So in this case, again, I'm just kind of tracing over using the existing one as a reference. I could also use the elevation to do these. So there's different ways you can do it. I tend to work from plan the most. These I think I can do with my rectangle tool. Again, just using the base drawing as a reference. Okay, and I think I missed that little piece over there. Great, great. So I'm going to go ahead and select all those pieces. So I'm doing it one by one here because I want to make sure that I'm selecting the pieces that I just did that are closed curves. So first thing I want to do is move them up to here. So I could do that in 3D, but I'm actually going to go into my front view to do that. And the other thing, this time I want you to click on project. The reason I'm doing that is that if I don't click project and I move these and enter, let's say I decide to move, I'm like, oh, I'm going to move, let's see if this is actually going to work, but maybe I go like there and I think that's going straight up. But if I look, that actually worked pretty good. So let's say I move them and I think I'm going straight up and I do that. But in reality, they've moved all the way over here because it like clicked to something else. So it's very often in Rhino that students have issues with trying to move things straight up and down. So to move something straight up and down, you select it, go to the view that it's going to be straight up and down to move, right? Like we're moving up and down, so going to front view, hit project first. So it's going to be referencing a point. Project means it's like referencing a construction plane. So when I click now, it's going to reference something on a flat point, and then when I hit my second reference, it'll still be on a flat point. So I'm going to hit M enter, and I'm moving from here up to here, and see this is projected perpendicular for both of those. And that's how I know that it's going to be, it'll be moved up, but not in any other direction. I'm not going to extrude those. Those are going to extrude from there up until the top of that green line. Now, when I need to get rid of it is here, because if I go here, you'll notice, see how it's going down, even though I'm hitting this point, because it's projecting down to the construction plane, which is the 0 part. So here I want to get rid of project and then go up to that green line. And if I put my ghosted back on, I can see I have my glass in. And I don't want to make you spend too much time building this model that you're not using, but I do want to at least put in the mullions. Let's put in some mullions and let's cut out some doors so you can try that. So for mullions we're going to do very, very similarly. Well, let's try mullions 2 ways. So first way you can try mullion is very similar to what we just did. So you would go back to wireframe just so you can see this. Select those mullions that we made. So those are all those rectangles. And notice I'm not doing the door because I know the door has different dimensions. It would be the same process, just you would extrude at different amounts for the door. Okay, so I'm going to have all of those. I want to move them up to where the glass is. So I'm going to hit project on for a second, go to my front view, and enter, move it from here up to here. I can take off project, leave them highlighted. It says Z enter, S enter, oops, S enter. Okay, just so we can see what we're doing. I'm going to put this back on ghosted, and then I'm going to extrude these. Extrude. here I can extrude up to this point. Okay, so those are almost all done. The last thing is that we're missing this kind of mullion right here. And that one is kind of complicated actually, because I think it's really going to be like these, right? It's the same shape as those. So I'm actually going to just copy these up and then shrink them down to fit. So I'm going to do that in my front view again. So I'm going to go into my front view, hit project, type in CO for copy. I copy from here up to the top of where my glass is. Then I'm going to select those again, hit shift to select them both, and then type in scale 1D. Keep on project. I'm going to scale it so that the height is going to become just the height of that mullion there. And now that should be done. And those look just fine. So again, I could do something similar to complete out the door there. I want to go over making a punch door opening though. So if I come over to here, this is where one of my punch doors is. And I think maybe if I do X-ray, you can see a little bit better. There we go. So I want to open up this door so that we can see an opening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw in where that door is. So I'm going to leave project on actually for this. And it's not wanting to snap to anything in there. Is it? Why is it not telling me it's snapping to it? So I'm actually going to get rid of X-ray. I'm going to use wireframe for this. There we go. Okay, so I think X-ray was doing something funky. So I'm going to just trace over the opening for the door. And I want to select it. And then I'll put ghosted back on so we can see what we're doing. I'm going to extrude this. 7 feet. So hit 7 feet, enter. And notice it went the wrong way. So I can either move it up or I can undo it. I can do -7 feet. So I'm going to extrude curve again, -7 feet, and hit enter. And there we go. It should be in there. Now I'm not positive this will work because sometimes it doesn't like when two faces are intersecting. It wants them to be totally clear of each other. But let's try and see if it will. So I'm going to do a Boolean difference. Select this is my face that I'm subtracting from, and then I'm going to hit enter and then hit that one that I'm subtracting with. And it did it. It was happy enough to cut out that door. So that I have this door, let's say I'm like, oh wait, I really should have made it 8 feet. I can use a command called move face just to move this part up rather than recutting it. So if I did the move face, I can select just that piece, type an M, enter. Oops, sorry, didn't need to do that. So move face, select that face, hit enter when done, and then I'm going to move it from, take off project. So I'm going to move it from here, and I'm going to see that pink line I want to keep right on there, and then I could put in like, let's say it's a 7/6 door, 6 inches. Oh, that moved it to 6 inches in general, so Control Z that. So move face, select faces. I should be able to, so right now it's doing this kind of crazy thing where it's going all over the place, and I really just want it to move straight. So one thing I can do is if I come here and hit tab, it's going to maintain that line. So I'm going to maintain that line. And I think I should be able to say 2 point. I just want to put in the distance. But I think, okay, so that time it worked. I'm not sure why I did that the last time. Okay, so that gives me my door. We don't usually model the door out, usually model the door in, but I could always, I could still use this rectangle here, extrude that. And I can just reference the other one here. So that's, and then I could even rotate that in. So if I type in rotate, I'm going to give the center of rotation as the pivot point of that door, and then you can see it actually follows the door swing, and we could shut the door here. Okay, so that is an example of that. You can do the same kind of thing for windows. Sometimes people want to draw the windows on the side. So to do that, actually, let's not go over construction planes yet. Let's talk about one other thing on the front. So you'll notice that this has like this wiggly thing going on, which I think is actually a little cornice piece. So we're going to create a sweep to get that cornice piece in there. And to start, so I want that curve, so I'm going to explode this. And that's going to give me 122 curves. Oh, because I did the whole group. Control Z. We can ungroup this though. Ungroup. Then I just want this piece and I want that piece. I'm going to rotate them. So I'm going to do rotate. Sometimes I can't spell. Okay, the center of rotation is going to be this bottom piece, and I'm going to have it, see, I want to say on ortho. I'm going to come orthographically, wait till it lines up to the front. Okay, I actually want this to extend back, so I'm going to take this and come straight back, make sure it says perpendicular here, and hit enter. And then I'm going to join those. So I think that I'm just going to bring this straight across, but I wanted to turn the corner here, I think. So I'm going to have it come back 1 foot here, and same thing over here. I'm coming over here. This is all going to be one line. Good. Okay, line. So I'm going to come over here and type in, and wait, make sure you have that white line showing up so you know that it's drawing straight. Select that, join. So I'm joining that as one, select that, join, so it's all one curve, closed curve. This is not closed, so I want to join that. Oh, it's unable to join curves. Interesting, what's going on? Oh, there's a missing link in between here, so I'm going to make a new line there and join that all together, one up and curve, great. Okay, so I'm going to try this. I haven't tried ahead of time, so I don't know if it'll work, but I'm going to do sweep 1. I'm going to select my rail as that, and then my cross-section curve is going to be this, hit enter. Oh, so it's only going that way. So I think I actually need to begin this at the beginning of my rail. So I'm going to hit cancel. I'm going to take this piece, move it over to my ending over here, and I'm going to rotate this, rotate, and I just want it to be 90. Great, so let's try that again. Sweep, 1, select my rail as this piece, select cross-section, search that, hit enter. And let's just preview this and see if that looks like I want it to look. Yeah, it does. The one thing is like, this maybe should be right up against the brick building instead of way out there. So I'm going to hit cancel. And I'm going to change this rail. So I'm going to move it, holding it just exactly along here. And it's not giving me that intersection point. So I want to get myself a point there so that I know that where that happens. Oh, that's why, because it doesn't intersect that. Right. So I need to know where that point happens. So I'm going to make a construction plane to help me do that. So I'm going to select this, hit extrude, curve. And this is a geometry I'll delete later. I'm just putting it here so that I can find where the intersection is. Extrude, curve. I can't type today. Okay. And I'm bringing that up. I'm just going to intersect that with our rail. So intersect, select our rail, select this object, select that object, hit enter. Okay, so now when I select this, when I move it, I'm going to move this to hit that point. And then I'm going to do a scale 1D. And I'm going to go from this point to this point to that point. Okay, now it should be better. I can delete these. I was just using them as reference. I'm going to use this, bring it to here, and we're going to try that one more time. Sweep 1. My rail is this. My cross-section curve is that. Hit enter, hit OK. Okay, so that's looking pretty decent. So the last thing I wanted to talk about, oh, and I didn't put in any kind of a ground here. That's not awesome. So let me do that. Thought we can just use a big old rectangle. So I'm just going to maybe on a new layer. Where did my new layer go? I don't know. Layer 1. Okay. So I can just start here, come straight back as a rectangle. I can hover over this point to kind of get that same piece. And I can just select it and type in planar surf. And that'll give me a ground plane to work with. If I want to recognize that there's actually a sidewalk here, I can extrude or I can offset surface. I'm going to flip the direction and I'm going to do 6 inches, hit enter. And then I could have like a second plane over here, right? That's representing the road. So that one could be starting over here and coming over to here. And I'll just move that down to the bottom of this and then type in planar surf. Okay, great. So last thing was changing the construction plane. I had never saved this. Make sure you save. All right, so let's say I want to draw a window on here, or maybe like I have like a weird angled thing. So let's say that this, had like a diagonal wall coming out of it. So we'll just draw a wall like this. I'll offset it. And then we will connect that wall together. I don't even know if I drew that right. Hopefully that's all right. Join. And then we need to close it here. Join. Extrude. Okay. So let's pretend that I want to cut a window out of this wall. One way to do that is similar to the door. I could create a rectangle here, move it up to where I want it, extrude it up, do it that way. But let's say I wanted to draw something on here and move it over. A couple ways I can draw on there. First, if I come over to my bar over here, I think it's under surface commands. If I hold this down, I'll get a whole bunch more. And I think, nope, this is the wrong place to be. So these are lots of cool things you can experiment with. I think it's under here. So if I hold this down and go to interpolate curves on a surface, I select the surface to draw, and I can select this one, and then I could, undo. And then even though it's all doing like wacky pieces, like that's all drawn on that surface. Now the one thing is when I extrude this, it looks like it's doing it right, but sometimes like it won't quite do it right, so you might need to change your construction plane. So to do that, you type in C plane, and then you want to define it with 3 points. So I would define it as here, here, and a vertical point. And then that should allow this to extrude really nicely. I can extrude it to both sides. Then I could cut my window out of here. So I could do Boolean difference, and then select that as my curve. Okay, yep, that's fine, whatever. Okay, so now I have that crazy window coming out. Because I reset my construction plan, I should also now be able to pretty easily and happily draw on here, hopefully. Sometimes it's not that happy about it. Okay, let's see if this will work. So, I could do 1 foot, and then I should be able to do sorry. So you can see like where my construction plane is now, right? It's like, I guess it's actually back there. But is it perpendicular? Let's double click on here. Okay. So now if I hit project and I'm drawing on here, it should be drawing like it's actually on here because it should all be in that plane because I defined that plane. So let's try that again. So like normally if I do project and I'm here, it'll like put it all at the 0, but this should all be on that plane, which is great. So then if I extrude this, I should be able to Boolean difference out of there. And I'm going to actually not delete the input here and hit OK. And then this, I'm going to come into here, scale 1D it. So I'm going to find the midpoint here and bring this in, and then I'm going to change this over the glass layer. And that's one way that I could make a punched opening window. Anything else I kind of forgot? I forgot putting on a roof onto this. This is a flat roof. So I wouldn't like stress about it too much, but you could always just do a planar surface and offset it. So to do that, I can actually use the line that I already made here. I can just move this up to the top and take project off. And then I'm going to explode this. I'm going to deselect, holding control, those two pieces. And I'm going to draw a new line connecting this end and this end. I'm holding shift to reselect those. Control Z. Okay, try that one more time. Sorry about that. So I'm going to select this, move it up to the top. I want to select the whole thing. Okay, move this up to the top. I'm going to explode it. I'm going to deselect these middle lines, hit join to rejoin those, and then I'm going to create a line from here over to here, and select that line, and then hit join again, and it should have made a closed curve for this. And at this point, I can do planar surf, and that will that'll create a flat roof there. Okay, that's all I'm going to have you guys do for this. So work on turning your own plans and sections into your actual drawing pieces after this. The 3D model is due on the 4th, I believe. So you have a little bit of time to experiment with different methods. Please ask questions as you run into roadblocks. We're mostly just extruding stuff here. There's so many different tools Rhino has to make shapes, make forms. You don't have to just extrude things or just sweep things. So please ask if you aren't sure how to do something. Thanks. Oh, and please upload this file to Canvas, just showing that you were able to get through it. Don't spend your whole life on it. Spend like, I don't know, let's see how long this was to begin with. 40 minutes. So if you spend like an hour and a half, 2 hours on it, that's plenty. Just upload what you get through. Thanks.